If you guys keep losing to the hardest bosses in Roblox Dungeon Quest, I'm not surprised. They're really tough. Today I'm going to cover how to beat them though. Welcome back to Roblox Alumni. Let's get into the video. Spider Queen. If you're an old school player of Dungeon Quest, then you must have confronted the Spider Queen, which is one of the hardest bosses to deal with. You would probably find her in a cave after the 4th room where she resides. It isn't easy to beat her due to her base health, which is up to 1.3 million on Insane, while 2.8 million on Nightmare. She has his own army, which she drops during the fight, and it gives most of the damage to the player. According to a recent poll, there is a 2% chance of beating Spider Queen, which certainly advocates the difficulty level. One of her primary weapons to attack though is a laser beam, which she usually blasts on the players. However, before that, there is a 2-second pause, and this is where the player needs to hide out and find a safe spot for himself. In the meanwhile, when the Spider Queen is charging herself, the player is required to attack her as much as she can. Find a safe spot and load as much ammo as you have on her in your arsenal. Demonic Pirate Captain. The Demonic Pirate Captain is the main boss, which the player needs to defeat on the Pirate Island. He has a staggering health of 1.5 million on Insane and 3.5 million health on Nightmare. You can find him in the 8th room of the center with the deck of the large galleon. He has the same difficulty level as the Spider Queen, which means you need to be very fast in order to tackle and defeat him. The Demonic Pirate Captain uses 4 mechanics to hunt his enemy down, which includes Dark Lightning Tendril, Spin Attack, Player Teleport, and Lifesteal. In order to avoid his attacks, try not to land on the red marks. It is where he will be going to drop his lethal blast. And as soon as you come near to him, make sure that you watch him carefully and avoid his sword swipe. After he is done with his attacks and takes some time to pause, make sure that you are ready to attack him with your weapons. In the meanwhile, keep running away from him to avoid the Demonic Captain. Beastmaster. It is one of the challenging bosses to conquer in the Dungeon Quest with a percentage of only 4% to defeat him. Beastmaster usually attacks its enemy on 3 mechanics, which include a full side attack, diagonal side attack, and a big circle swipe where he is mostly lethal upon where he tries to cut you in half. The Beastmaster is the first boss the player will encounter on the King's Castle located in the 3rd room. They have lethal weapons of attack, which includes a Goblin Cleaver and a Beastly Guardian set. The encounter will typically start from when the player will start running through the corridor. He usually hits the players in a wide range, like a narrow hallway, so maneuverability is the key. His attack would usually be identified in the yellow boxes, and this is where the player needs to avoid stepping on it. He needs to find a safe spot for himself until the Beastmaster pause and recharge. Step on this moment with your best weapon and attack with full power. Although it is difficult to finish him on the first attack, however, counting on the perfect moment will be beneficial for you. The King. If you are a follower of the Dungeon Quest, you might probably know that the King is the main boss of the level, located in the 8th room. It is difficult for a lot of beginners, and of course some beginners to conquer him. However, with these tricks you can simply put him underneath your shoes. He has been voted for the most difficult boss in the Dungeon Quest with a winning percentage of just 2% against him. The King is usually 2 mechanics, which include a high beam that he will fire on you through his sword, and when he jumps on you, giving you 30,000 damage. When the King uses a lava lash, the best way to avoid him is to move further away as much as you can. In the meanwhile, the player needs to make sure that he does not get too far away from the King. When he pauses for a second, lash on him with your sword and start hitting him with full power. Archmage. Count yourself lucky if you are able to beat Archmage in the Dungeon Quest, because it surely isn't a simple task to do. You need to be on your top-notch skills to make your move and release attack on him. Archmage is the second boss which the player will encounter on the 8th room of all kinds of the castle. He has a set of weapons which he usually uses to attack the player that include a Celestial Fire Staff and an Archmage set with a hood instead of a crown. He uses 3 mechanics to make the player fall in his red zone, which includes a laser beam that covers the entire library, a red circle where he attacks, and a random beam that can hit you anytime. In order to beat him, make sure to move around him and avoid his book bombs and arcane beam. Make sure that you stand him. This will ensure that you are not stacked by the arcane grid. Wait for him until he pauses and for a split second, and then attack him with your sword and other weapons. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.